So, hello. Finally, we are getting to round 2 and 3 of ladder tournament this month recap. A few notes. Everyone had a second chance in the tournament because you're gonna fall into lower bracket. You're not gonna get eliminated immediately. Like losing any round will help you that. So we have some lower bracket match today, but I'm just gonna show you the result in the end because I just recapped the upper bracket because it is a bit messy down there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Here we go. Martin versus Joth. Starting off not so hot, with Martin bringing Wish Killer's team again, and the other side was Joth with Stall. This resulted in a literal PP Stall matchup from both sides, with hazards all over the places. They're throwing Spike, they're throwing Stealth Block, throwing everything. On turn 180, Martin scored an important crit on Gliscor, sealing off the win for him in game number 1, as Venusaur could have just dealt with Clefable and Alamomola easily. Game number 2, not having that matchup again, Martin brought his HO team from the last round into the field. Joth approached with balance this time, surviving a Mach Punch from Breloom on turn number 6 with his Mega Bunny. He also froze the Shroom to death by Ice Punch, but then Martin set up with his Mega Scizor and returned the favor by dodging a Will-O-Wisp on turn 10. Then I don't know why Joth, he actually sacked all of his Pokemon to bring out Keldeo last, but it happened and Martin won game number 2, moving on to the next round. Daedara vs Toshi. Greninja and Aegislash combo came from Daedara's side to put some real pressures on Toshi's stall in game number 1. One crucial part of this game was that Toshi's Gliscor was actually slower than Aegislash. Funnily enough, I don't know if he noticed that or he did that intentionally, but Daedara didn't know that and missed the kill on turn 8, allowing the Gliscor to heal back up and cause some real problems to his team. It's not his fault, because normally all the Gliscor should always be faster than Aegislash. This was one of the rare cases that it wasn't. Gliscor then sit on the field for turns after turns, toxicking and earthquaking everyone. Unfortunately for Daedara, Toshi had all he needed to deal with Daedara's Pokemon individually. You have like a nasty ball Thunderous, but then Toshi also had Chansey, unaware of Fable, Gliscor. He's just pivoting around. There's no actual risk there, and also Mega Gallade. Then also he also had to deal with Alamomola, Skarmory, and still unaware of Fable, Gliscor. There was a lot going on and he cannot break through it. On turn 60, Daedara killed the Gliscor, now realizing his Aegislash was faster the whole time. It was too late now as his Pokemon all got poisoned and weakened. Game number 1 went to Toshi. Veil Offense was Toshi's choice in game number 2 to deal with Daedara's balance. He got some nice trade with Bishop in early turns with the help from Defiant. Toshi's Cloister forgot its glasses though as it missed Rock Blast on Zard X. Not sure why on turn 13 the Root called back his Zard X, because he could have Dragon Claw the Kerio, as you'll see later how important that would be. I'm just assuming that he only had Earthquake and Flare Blitz at his moves. So with 2 consecutive proper switches against Greninja, Toshi positioned himself into clicking Scarf Hydro with Rotom, putting Aegislash out of commission. A lot of Keirio's success later came from the fact that the Root didn't get any initial damage on it, allowing the Unicorn to survive for too long. So Toshi finished off the Root Greninja and moved on to round number 3. Martin vs DCP. Martin was back at it again with his trusted hyper offense team, but this time DCP has some hot stuffs in store with Sun. Failing to set up rocks against Torkoal, Martin proceeded to dodge 2 Stone Edge with his Zapdos from Tyranitar, but worry not for DCP, he still had enough tools to win. After killing Scizor on turn 16 by the Lava Plume, I still think Martin shouldn't have stayed in there, but it happened. He could now easily sweep with Venusaur, and yes, he did. Venusaur ended the game with 3 kills on Azumarill, Breloom, and then finally Gengar. So back to Wish Killer it was, as Hyper Offense didn't seem to be an optimistic option for Martin right now. DCP brought his own safer option in game number 2 as well in the form of Balance. A couple of Paralyzed on Tentacruel was enough to help Martin position himself into a good position. That sounds ridiculous. Even after his Kerio was rolled out by, I believe, Skarmory, a questionable decision was made on turn 32 though, when Martin sent out Venusaur, which is his only Lopunny check to deal with DCP banded Tyranitar. That was a mistake because it resulted in it being super low and got picked off by Mega Lopunny itself right after, so the bunny was ready to sweep. A questionable decision, definitely, for sure. However, on turn 42, so he had a chance with Mega Lopunny. Instead of going for return to get the guaranteed damage for Clefable later to knock out Kerio, DCP went for high jump kick and missed. And game number 2 actually went to Martin. Game number 3, although it was a close win, Martin didn't change his team. DCP went screen offense with Klefki. So starting from turn 27, I don't know why Martin didn't score sooner to threaten Chandler because it was having a sub on. He kept combining up with his Kerio, which has no form of recovery beside leftovers. As you will see right here, they are just trading Pokemons, like his Cloyster is doing Cloyster stuff. King's Rock had a nice trade with Skarmory and it didn't die, they got toxic. Here we go into turn 27. Yeah, this is really questionable. Why do you stay in? Why didn't you Scald rather? Just keep combining up. Kerio lost to Chandler eventually. In fact, his whole team lost to it. Sludge Bomb didn't poison Chandler and that was it. DCP won this round easily. Well, not that easily, but you know what I mean. A 2-0 win, as his Chandler put an end to Martin's run. Dodge vs Specs. Sandford's Hippo on Dodge side of the field this time, while Specs brought a Sound team. Is there something fishy going on here? Or did Dodge just made a godly prep for his Hippo? But anyway, that never came to be an advantage though, simply because Mega Gyarados was dodged through Star, managed to break through Paralyze, and created a bunch of holes on Spec's team. With Volcanion and Clefable now gone for Specs, courtesy of Gyarados of course, Dodge Hippo can now slack off quite comfortably. It just came out, wouldn't stop. The only problem was the Tangrowth, which he has Ferrothorn to deal with and actually killed the Tangrowth. Aegislash trying to get its win rate back by doing what it does, putting huge pressure on Spec's team as he eventually lost with his Excadrill, got hit by a Flash Cannon, is now too low to win. Besides, there's still the Hippo there, he could never get enough damage. Game number 1 went to Dodge. Game number 2, Specs came with Rain and Dodge marching with Hyper Offense. A couple of Dragon Dance would all it take to win Dodge the game. Yes, you heard it, it was a very fast game with Zard X sweeping in the rain. Dodge moved on to the next round with his Charizard still a little bit high after 6-0ing the whole rain team. He had an opportunity to set up, which is, yeah. It's Alias versus Back. Alias started round 3 with his favorite playstyle, which is Hyper Offense. Back brought his Mega Glalie team, whose he referred to as "y'all sleeping on it." Not a Mega Glalie game though, cause Alias Bishop after one Swords Dance was enough to slide through half of Back's team. A play rough dodge wasn't enough for Back as Azu finished the legacy of Bishop in the end and Alias got the first game from Back. There was Alias' choice the next game. Back prepared with Charizard X Star. It worked, I would say not so well, but normally pretty well. I don't know how to say that for Back, but until he missed a Whirlpool on turn 27, he was going for Azumarill trapping Manaphy after like a Tail Glow, and then Alias actually got tricked by that. He energy balled the Azu and almost got trapped, but actually dodged the Whirlpool. So Alias escaped with his Manaphy still breathing. It was unfortunate turn for Back. He later saw this loss coming after Heatran killing his Charizard X because he Will Whips on the wrong turn. Yeah, and then he got killed by Earth Power. Alias won this game with a bit of luck and advanced to the next round. Gaza vs Axe. A good start for Gaza's Magnezone despite Axe having the Fire Blast Clefable in game number 1. Magnezone dodged a Fire Blast, allowing it to pretty much kill both of Axe Bishop because of the Paralyze and the right position on the Sucker Punch, and potentially killing also Clefable as it's now being low and paralyzed. The game ended quick on turn number 10 though, as Axe realized Gaza Clefable can now Calm Mind and win from there. I suppose he might have saw this coming. Moving on, Axe brought his usual balanced team into game number 2. On the other side, Gaza posed a real threat in Nidoking, as it would get a kill every time he came in if Gaza clicked the right move. Rotom was the first victim, followed by Amoonguss. The combination of Ice Beam, I believe, and then Earth Power for both of those actually. Excadrill also took a good chunk later with Nidoking's Ice Beam. So the Nidoking already did a lot for Gaza this game. So with all those, Gaza's Zapdos now became an even bigger problem. Not even to mention Scarf Garchomp, who's ready to clean up with just Scarf Outrage. All that didn't help in Ass cases. Gaza, like, he pretty much won this round. Not having too much problem. I'm still confusing about the first game, but yeah, this is the result we would take. Evo versus Daedara. Both Evo and Daedara had eyes on Hippo in game number 1, which indicated that Hippo will no longer be undefeated this tour. As before, after round 1, it had like 100% win rate. Either way, both Hippos were very, very annoying to deal with for both players. Daedara's Hippo had Toxic, while Evo's didn't though, and that would have made a huge difference in the long run, as Daedara's actually toxic the other Hippos. But luckily, Evo's Zapdos got burned by Suicune instead in very early game, like turn 1 or something, so he couldn't get toxic anymore. So this made a huge impact on the game, as Zapdos can now switch into Hippo without fearing being toxic. So because it got burned already, it already got burned. He did that very comfortably, quite a few times, switching into Hippo and stuff, and just switching in out. And you can see right here that getting burned early by Scald ain't always bad, because you could get toxic later. Burned Zapdos won the first game for Evo with a few Thunderbolts on Suicune on the last turns. Game number 2, Evo brought Rain but with a Noivern, which he preferred over Tornadus. Daedara still trusted Hippo and got paid off with it being able to Toxic Swampert. A wrong prediction on turn 6 cost Evo his Magnezone. Ferrothorn was now freed from fearing Magnet Pull. It still did nothing for Daedara though, as it missed a crucial Power Whip on Swampert on turn 17. Thankfully, the Toxic from Hippo earlier was enough to put the Rain Sweeper down. Zapdos now became a huge problem this time, but on Daedara's side, not on Evo's side anymore. Not the last game, anyway. Evo realized he couldn't win anymore. Daedara balanced the match. Still using the same team, Daedara was confident to go into game number 2. Evo also brought that Evo Jirachi's team, which he used against Smooch last round. Its task this time was more difficult than flinching non-leftover Heatran, since Daedara had Zapdos, Suicune, Ferrothorn, and Hippo to rotate around. Still, it managed to Toxic the Hippo, but Daedara's Hippo also succeeded in Toxicking Evo's Rotom. A misclick on Refresh happened on turn 28 after Evo's used Dragon Dance on his Mega Altaria, and Daedara switched in Clefable. He clicked Refresh. I don't know why he clicked that. That's definitely a misclick, and that made Mega Altaria lost the 1v1 interaction with Clefable. With nothing left to threaten Refresh Mega Latias, pretty much there's nothing left for him. This Heatran going down, Altaria gone, Toxic, no problem, because the Mega Latias has Refresh. So Evo accept the defeat this round. Mega Latias won Daedara a 2-1 match. Oda vs. Koza. A Specs Focus Blast hit on Ferrothorn was an energetic start for Koza in game number 1 when Oda didn't have his seat warmed yet. Oda's Mega Beedrill had the highest speed tier, but the opposing Mega came from Koza hard-warded in the form of Mega Scizor. Although having Magnezone as a perfect counter, Oda needed that Pokemon for so many things. After killing Clefable, it took a huge hit from Koza's pursuit and weakened severely, later picked off by Scald on turn 13. With Magnezone out of the picture, Koza didn't find it hard at all to finish the first game by setting up with Mega Scizor a bunch of times and also punching a few times. Hard-hitting monsters came to game number 2 with Diggersby on Koza's side and Crawdon on Oda's side. Diggersby acted first, but stopped by proper Ferrothorn switch-ins, predicting Diggersby return from Oda's. Crawdon is next. This time it did a little bit more than Diggersby, nailing Koza's Garchomp close to the death. Both dragons from two sides, Larios of Oda's and Hydreigon from Koza, were pretty frightening as well. A key prediction on turn 29 by side-shocking the Chansey on the switch. Oda got the edge from there and slowly won by his Mega Latios with a couple of flexible, not too important prediction in the end. It's like he did that just flexible, but it was a nice flex. I would flex that too. Yeah, so game number 2 went to Oda. Losing was not an option for both players in game number 3, therefore a pretty neat stall matchup happened. However, the game was decided by a few moments. Koza lost his patience first and made some misplay with Heatran, resulting in its death on turn 35. That seemed like his only chance of breaking through though. His Clefable later calmed mind up with hope that Oda's unaware Clefable will be paralyzed at the right turn, and that never happened. Koza eventually ran out of PP. Everything that happened after that was just Oda's finishing the match properly. He for sure won and moved on to the next round. Toshi vs. Naco. Naco had a rough start with his Toxic Orb on Gliscor getting knocked off by Toshi's Landorus, limiting his option to check Toshi Heatran on the other side, whose can really cause troubles to Naco's star team with Magma Storm, Taunt, and Toxic. After pretty much over 30 turns positioning himself, Toshi got what he wanted. He knocked out Gliscor on turn 37 with the exact damage needed for Magma Storm. Weavile's pursuit later wasn't enough either, as Toshi stayed in and hit the Magma Storm, eliminate only Dark type on Naco's team. As you can see right now that Mega Latias was ready, with stored power bypassing unaware Clefable, because it increased the base power of the move, not the start. So it didn't take Toshi too much time to finish Naco in game number 1 with Refresh, the usual set. Naco did have Toxic on Altaria, but he's using the special set, which is Hyper Voice, so it cannot bypass the store Calm Mind stuff. Toshi brought rain the second game, but Naco was also ready to change the weather with his Veil offense. Naco's Aegislash after one Sword Stand threatened to take a kill from Toshi. Toshi's choice was Ferrothorn, That gave Naco a lot of spaces as he can now spam moves with his alias without seeing the Ferrothorn there, right? And Freeze Drive from Ninetale was also super effective against 5 of Toshi's Pokemon, or should I say all of his Pokemon that's left, because the Ferrothorn is gone. That and Latias carry a put an end to Toshi's reign as Naco won game number 2. Game number 3. The original game happened on Showdown in a private room. No one was there, but Showdown suddenly it got turned off and went down. And Naco had a good matchup, as he said, and was pretty upset about that because they had the rematch, right? And since no one's there, no one know what they were doing. I mean, they can do anything there. But things still happened slowly as it should have, until suddenly Naco got hit by some hidden tech from Toshi, such as Toxic Non-Fake Out Megalopony, HP Ice Heatran, and most importantly, Sword Stand Landorus with perfect coverage, Earthquake knockoff Iron Tail. I don't know which black market Toshi went to buy those sets, how many levers did he sell, but it worked in his favor in the rematch of game number 3, and the match overall, Toshi won 2-1, ended round 3.